So NBA. So is it NBA scout too, or
Yeah. I scout for every level. Like
every level? Damn.
pretty much, I cover Canada, whatever level you're at, whether you're NBA, NCAA, Canadian University, junior colleges. I help them all. It's just whoever wants to pay for my subscription. It just the price goes up as the level goes up.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a treat today.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a treat today. Holy. Okay.
Yeah. Everything got built really because I kind of got over any type of like, again, insecurity or whatever you have about like approaching people or social, like, is gone because I spent the first 5 years hustling, introducing myself when I was a nobody to Masai Ujiri and every single basketball executive that existed. And like, what did I tell them? I don't know, like I'm a scout, and I just said it. And then it kind of became true after enough years of hustling and figuring it out.
This, man.
Yeah,
It's a great story. So, Wes Brown, Monday Hoops Club.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
talk about it. Let's freaking talk about it. I'm happy to have you here in studio.
Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Yes. So let's get into all the great things you're doing, especially on the scope of Canada, worldwide, and things like that. NBA scout, different levels, things like that. Let's speak about that. What made you want to pursue this passion?
I've been a basketball nut since as long as I can remember.
Okay.
Growing up, like Stephon Marbury was my idol on the Suns. That was my guy, Stephon Marbury. And truthfully, this is what happened. I remember I was probably like 12, and they were playing the Spurs in the playoffs. I'm thinking, okay, they got Amari, Marbury, and Marion. They have more talent. They should win. And after I think Marbury, the first game, hit like a game winner from like half court, some heave. And then they lost the series, maybe 4-2 or 4-1. And like I started to think, why are they losing? Marbury was my idol. I have more Marbury jerseys than anyone in the world. I probably have 20 Stephon Marbury Suns jerseys. And I started to think and started to wonder, okay, is there something there that the common person doesn't know or understand? And so, and you're growing up and you're a sports fan and all your buddies like sports and all you do is talk about sports. But I just thought I had gut understanding or feeling. And if you watch someone enough, you get a feeling for, and really, like, I think this is why I look at the game differently than most people, even scouts, their impact on winning more than it is how good they are, how talented they are, right? Talent is really important, but do they care? And, over time, I kind of started to look at the little things that they would do that show whether they really care or not. And that's what you're trying to find, right? Guys that are going to help you win games more than just talent. So that really like started my journey as like a young basketball nut. And like even in high school, I was not a good basketball player. Like I was the tennis player, to be honest. But all these people that were basketball players would like, everyone would talk to me about basketball. I just became known as that guy. And that's kind of like who I've always been, even though I was never really good.
But you know what? You're speaking to even where my thought process is, because when I think of NBA and I think of the greats, the Jordans, the LeBrons, they may not transition to be the right coaches for the job at that moment. They could probably look at ownership. But when you look at someone like Steve Kerr wasn't the best player.
Yeah.
But look how many championships he has.
Yeah.
Playing with Jordan, playing with Pippen,
Yeah.
now with Golden State. You know what I mean? So it's like it all depends on the level of how you understand the game. Because I feel like I'll openly say this. I don't think Jordan would ever transition to a coach very well because of how great he was.
Right.
You know what I mean? And things like that.
And he tried in management and as an owner, and it never worked out.
No, for sure.
And for Steve Kerr, it was harder for him. He had to think his way through it.
Right.
He wasn't just getting by off talent and skill and athleticism and all that. And I was kind of the same thing where it was like I was trying to figure things out because I didn't have any natural ability, but I knew I kind of wanted to be on the other side. So,
I've had Brandon Pruss played in the NHL last year, came on the podcast, things like that. And we talked about kids growing up, right? We're looking at basketball here. We're in Canada. Speak to if any child or even parent is watching this, coach watching this, what they should be doing to build their confidence level for kids in sports and basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I see every type of parent. I think
Yo, guys, what's going on? I appreciate you. Thank you. Turn on all bell notifications, subscribe, like, and comment to the podcast.
encouragement is probably huge to kind of keep going because it's probably hard. I think the self-awareness aspect of, you know, the kids got to understand who they are at some point, figure it out what their role is on each team that they play on, because 90% of guys aren't the stars. So I think that's a process for the kid to go through themselves. I think for the parents, kind of stay back, be encouraging, but let them decide what it is that they want to do. I know for me, I just happened to be good at tennis, but I didn't actually love it. And I, just regret that I didn't go into basketball or whatever. And that's nobody's fault. I was just a kid. But I just think you don't want to have the regrets of something not working out or feeling pressure from a parent or whatever to do because they were a basketball player or they were whatever other sport. So I think the parent simply sit back, encourage, don't be the crazy parent. Don't get involved. Definitely don't get involved with the coach. Like the coach probably knows better and sees what everyone's role is on the team. And you see a lot of friction with that kind of stuff because people don't realize how good their kid is, I'm sure it's hard. Everyone's got blinders on. But let them find their passion, I think.
Love that you say that because I feel like parents can get into the kids' way as well.
For
You
sure.
know what I mean? And it's just like, it's over coaching. Let the coach be the coach, but be that mentor side.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we both know about that, coaches, mentors, things like that. But I played basketball, high school, and you see it where it's like some of the parents would be so in the stands and you can just hear them. Bah, 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 and it's just like, you're talking your son or daughter out the game. What are y'all doing?
Yeah. And
you know
the
what
kid
I mean?
doesn't like it.
Yeah.
It's bothering the kid for the most part. It's taking him out of the game. The coach is trying to tell him to get back on defense, and he's busy talking to the parents. So they need to figure it out on themselves and not feel like they're doing right or wrong. So, I think leave it up to them almost.
For sure. So when we think of the analytical side as a scout and things like that, how much does that play into like what you're looking for that particular male or even female?
The analytics, like the actual numbers, very, very little.
Okay.
For high school basketball scouting, there's limited generalized stats available. There's a few leagues, they keep their stats, but I don't think at this level, the stats play into it that much, to be honest. And guys might, say, here's my stats for the year, whatever, but coaches are not recruiting them because of their stats. At the next levels, they are, right? An NBA team is not taking an NCAA player that doesn't have great numbers. But from high school to college, it's not really about the stats. It's really about the eye test, and for me, I know what I'm looking for, and having kind of done this for so long, I know what each level looks like, what type of size, athleticism, skill set, IQ, all those things, turn into a good player at a high major, low major, Canadian university, U Sport, NBA, whatever it is. So really what I do is write reports about the human more than it is about stats, though I'll include, shooting numbers and things like that, but very basic stuff.
Do you think Steph Curry broke the game of basketball?
Broke,
yeah. A lot of folks say that they feel like he forced every single player from 1 to 5 just to be shooting. It's not about playing off the blocks, playing in the post, things like that.
Well, with the bigs, I mean, every big now wants to be a perimeter player. So with that, it's a little tough. But I think the guys who are tough are happy to go bang inside and figure out their role. And the ones who are going to make it are going to make it anyways. Like Steph Curry being like that and the game moving towards the 3 is not going to stop the guy who is self-aware, who knows that my ticket to the next level is to be a rim protector, rim runner, do the dirty work, play down low, whatever. And okay, so it might weed out some of the guys that weren't going to make it anyways because they don't have the self-awareness of what they are, what they can become, where their advantage is. And at some point, they're going to stop being willing to do what's necessary and want to go stand out there and shoot threes. So this might be getting a little complicated, but like it changed it for the better, to be honest. I mean, the numbers, one of my coaching friends always says to me, he's like, Wes, the Steve Nash Suns, run and gun, 7 seconds or less Suns, that, one of the greatest offenses of all time, would get killed by teams today. Killed.
Absolutely.
Just because they're shooting way less threes.
Mm-hmm.
I trust them. I don't know the analytics behind it, but that's the situation, right? But there's a give and take. You can't let every player the same freedom. A spot up three is different than an off the bounce three. You have to stat those things. You have to figure out where your advantages are. Like, I remember I coached university over 10 years ago here, and we would just track their shooting numbers on all the drills. Okay, if you're shooting 70% from three in the corner, but, on the right corner, but 40% in the left corner, that's your spot. When you're running the lanes and we get the ball and they want outlet, run your lane on the right side, or, just, you have to understand where your advantages are. So it's not like uniform. It has changed the game, better or worse, whatever. This is what the game is now, but it's always going to tailor to where the talent is. And 2 years ago, everybody laughed at me and the scouts I deal with about Zach Edey being drafted. No, yeah, he's no more bigs, blah, blah, blah. Look what Zach Edey's doing. He's having a great rookie year. So forget it. Players are players. You'll find ways to impact the game if you're a player. And even though there's more threes and whatever than usual, like at the end of a game, you need a bucket. Are they going to chuck a three? Or is Shea going as mid-range and going to get to his spot and hit a like you're doing?
Damn.
So
you're cooking right now, man. Cooking.
It's just like there's a place for both,
Mm-hmm.
and the analytics people can say what they want,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll, there's advantages to shooting more threes,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a time and a place
Mm-hmm.
for both.
No, for sure. You spoke so much there. One of my guys I talked to from in gaming, 15 years now, is a relationship we have. Phone relationship. We're gonna definitely meet in person. He's in Memphis. I was all about Zach Edey. He was at first. He's like, no, man, we don't need another big. We got Triple J. I said, listen, y'all gonna love Zach Edey because the thing is, you can't defend 7 foot tall.
Yeah,
I don't care what anybody says. You can't defend that position. I can't defend that position. Can you defend that position?
No, nobody.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you think
he's 7'3",
that's what I'm saying, right? So when you look at it, it's like you see the highs and lows and how certain teams can encompass the elite level of what do I need to get that edge? Because it's like, I feel like a lot of teams from last year started to map out around how do we beat Denver in the playoffs. Now it's scaling back team organization of basketball. You got the Celtics and what they got, great coaching, but they got depth everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some folks think they're going to win the championship again. We'll see. I'm not going to turn this into like a sports podcast by any means, but it's like you see the range of how the game can change over time and stuff like that.
For sure. I mean, there's a mix of building your team and needing the guys to be able to defend Brown and Tatum, or be able to defend Jokic. Yeah. So it's about, again, it's a balance of figuring that out.
So let's talk about this. Monday.
Yeah.
Because it's Monday today. Surprisingly.
It is.
Monday Hoops Club. This is your baby. This is your passion.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you this. Shout outs to Jed and Jade. I got to give them a shout out because the Espresso collection collaboration that she did, that you all did, drew me to the brand. Me to the brand. I was like, Monday. And now I'm wearing the hat in certain podcasts, virtual interviews. People are like, Monday, what's your hat about? I said, listen, y'all gonna see. Y'all gonna see. But let's talk about your passion project, man, and this entrepreneurial journey that you're in now.
Yeah, I mean, Monday just started as like merch for my basketball brand. What happened was everybody knew Wes Brown, like one word, Wes Brown.
Okay.
Like, oh, Wes Brown's coming to the gym today. The kids, that's what. And so I was like, okay, nobody knows that my brand. It's really the Monday morning scouting report. Every Monday morning I send a report, right? But I needed something simple that would just click. And you just see a lot of these brands online with these like university sweatshirts that just say Monday or Toronto or whatever. And so I just literally made a Gildan hoodie that said Monday on it. And like it took off in the basketball community. Every player wanted it. Guys now who are in the NBA have Monday hoodies and stuff. I have tons of pictures on my phone of all these top prospects. And, you know, after time, it wasn't really viable. Like, I think if we send them to China and stuff, that wasn't the way to start it, but there's different sizing, issues might come about. What's like the one thing, and especially for me, someone that wears trucker hats 24/7, that everybody can wear, that like is universal sizing, that I love and want to wear myself. And it just kind of like came about organically. We got tons of samples made, finally found the right one that was perfect. Kind of organically, my sister, who's worked in fashion for a while, started to help just with socials. We did a photo shoot. I kind of know from starting my own first business and building it off the ground into something legit, that you kind of just have to go all in. There's no other way. Just go all in. So we sunk the money in that I needed to kind of get a social, to get a photo shoots, to get pictures, to get the products, everything like that. And we started just sending them around to like influencers and stuff, just like Jed and Jade, who I had a connection to Jed. And like, that's the thing with a lot of these basketball connections. I'm one person away from knowing someone like pretty significant. So that's just what's happening. Like organically, it's just taken off.
I love that, man. I love that. So as an entrepreneur, balance between scout, business owner, there's 24 hours in a day. How are you doing it?
It's tough.
Okay.
I'm not good at multitasking.
Okay.
If there's one thing to do, like, hey, Wes, go to the gym and go scout for 12 hours in a row, easy. But it's difficult. And like now, I mean, we're in the middle of trying to figure out QuickBooks and, you know, my accounting and stuff that I have to kind of stay in front of every week and keep all my receipts and you know, log all the sales that we make and everything, and now ship the hats. It's just, there's a lot of aspects to it that people don't see. And I wish, but it's not as simple as just going to scout games or just selling hats.
Right. Nice. That's the thing, because the biggest thing is when you have your passion, with me, it's podcasting. It doesn't interfere in the way, because like you can put me in the studio for 5 hours. I've done it before. It's a lot of work because a lot of talking, a lot of this, a lot of that.
Right.
But then sometimes you're like the other things, the editing, the scheduling, all of that other stuff you don't really want to do. But that's what sets you up for the success.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And things like that. When you think of Monday and where you're at right now, is there anything that you would want to add on besides having like the hats, maybe going another route?
Like a different business idea, or add on to the hats?
Add on to the business idea with the hats.
We have other things in the works.
Okay, I know you can't say. I'm like,
yeah, we have other things in the works.
NDA people, NDA.
Yeah, no. We have other things in the works for the hats, but honestly, like, I know in 10 years, Lord knows how many businesses I'm gonna have, because I just think that I need to capitalize on every organic idea that comes, but it has to come to me. Like, I'm not just doing things to cash in. And like the authenticity of everything that I do, because scouting, I absolutely love it. The clothing, I absolutely love it. Like, I'm literally designing stuff for myself. Like this design, I hope my parents aren't watching, but like, I'm driving middle of the night to Quebec for Canadian Nationals, messaging this guy on Fiverr who made both these designs. Like, hey, I need this edit. I need this edit. Pitch black, right? Like, I love it. And so I'm really making these products and these ideas, and the scouting, I'm doing it all for me, but it's coming about in an organic way. And without my sister's help, I wouldn't be able to do any of it, because like you said, the editing, all the other stuff, I'm not capable of. There's too many
Head down, focused on Fiverr, he says.
Yeah.
Driving down a dark street, dark road.
Yeah. But yeah, that was rough. But,
no, I hear you.
But yeah, so for now, we're sticking with the scouting and the clothing and the hat. It will be more than hats soon. We're working on the rest. But we're going to take it slowly, because, look, all business, my business especially, you do and you see what works and you go with that.
Facts.
Like this hat.
Like, I need to get that one.
It didn't.
I need to get that one.
It didn't. Like, if it didn't sell, we would have come up with something different,
right?
And tried that,
right?
But this is the one that works, so we just keep making more because it keeps selling.
Your Instagram story posts, you talked about collaboration. And I think in entrepreneurship and collaboration go hand in hand. Not everyone you can collaborate with because it's just whatever reason. People have their own personal agenda.
Yeah.
Speak about the importance when it comes down to your branding system and your approach of what it is you're looking for and how organic conversations like this, even today, is happening.
Yeah. Gut feeling.
Mm.
I mean, we're looking to grow. You know, we've connected organically.
Facts.
You guys have a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, and you're looking to build it. I have a unique story, and I'm looking to build my brand. And you know, the same type of thing happened with Jay doing our collab. That came about organically. She loved the hats, and she's got, you know, a huge following, and they make great content. And it's like, you just have to trust the person that you're dealing with, you know, like there's a human element. Like, as much as I want my business to be huge and I think it's going to be huge and whatever, like, I'm not in it like to be a billionaire. Like, at the end of the day, like, is that what I want to do? Like, yeah, but take it day by day and be a good person and work hard and find opportunities to build and see what happens.
Yeah. And being a good person is a great thing. And I think that's the missing ingredient a lot of folks don't get, because it's like, how can I claw my way through making this connection to that connection to that connection? Like, producer that's set up, like, it's been just random likes, Instagram, to where he's a part of the guys that own the building. And it's like putting two and two together, because it's like, for sure, the gut feeling approach. You know what I mean? I think it's so missed. And I tell content creators, I tell up and coming podcasters, you got to build the relationships.
Really, that's everything.
You know what I mean?
That's and that's the basketball side too.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I have clients that are huge schools. I barely talk to them sometimes. Like, some of them I might talk to 5 times a year, but like they trust me. We have a good relationship, and they know that if there's a top player coming out of Canada, I'm going to let them know about it. And it's that simple. It's always about the relationship.
Love that you say that. Let's get into marketing approach for players. When you have your brand, is there certain folks that you like, can I get this hat in their hands? Or is it more just like, if I'm in that area, I organically let it build?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could drive myself crazy trying to get to every single person everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And we do send out tons of DMs and messages and whatever. But like, a great example, a coaching friend of mine loves fashion too. We just got to talking about it. He's like, oh, my buddy's an NBA player with the Cavs. Sent him hats. Who happens to like them? Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell, yep.
Donovan Mitchell's like repped it 20 times already. Pre-game and in his Instagram posts, everything, you know, on the plane, whatever. And that just happened organically. Another example, like a Canadian kid that I'm pretty close with asked for hats last week. He's on the Timberwolves. So he's like...
Not my team. I'm a Timberwolves guy.
Oh, are you?
Who?
Leonard Miller. You know Leonard?
What?
Yeah.
But okay.
He's like... I think I don't know if he's on a two-way or not.
Okay.
But he's been with the team lately.
Okay.
And, you know, he was like with one of the big players, and he's like, oh, he likes the hats. I was like, sick. I'll send you a bunch, and I'll send you more for the team.
There you go.
So I sent them like 15 hats for the team.
What? I didn't even know this.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this. I'm a Timberwolves guy, right? So it's like diehard.
If we do a Timberwolves design, I got you.
Okay.
Because we did one for the Cavs.
I got goosebumps right now.
The Cavs, we have our sports pack designs with like NBA colorways. We use some like basic classic ones, right? LA, New York, Toronto, because we're here in Chicago. But I made Cavs ones just for the team that I sent to Sam, who's been repping with the Cavs. But yeah, like organic, honestly. Again, do we target people? Like maybe a bit, but again, it's like, it's usually just people that I have a relationship with. Another, like a bunch of scouts. I have pictures on my phone. A bunch of scouts are out All-Star Weekend wearing my hats.
What?
Like together and connecting and stuff. And some of them like have extras to give out. You know, my buddy with Denver, I don't know what his role is, like one of the top scout guy, like head of scouting or something like that. And he's like, yeah, I'll distribute. Like, what happens if that hat ends up in Jokic's hands? Like, I don't know. So
post it.
Just
walking through the tunnel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just yeah, keep like honestly blindly doing.
I love that, man.
And there's not like one thing that I'm like focused on getting done. I just think just keep doing
Yep.
and good things happen.
Yep.
So
It's the marketing approach too, right? Because it's like, think about it from this perspective. If Jokic was to wear the hat, or you said Donovan Mitchell, any of these guys wear the hat and it captures on social media, folks are going to be like, what is that?
yeah.
It's the brand, Wes Brown, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So you putting us on the map still. I love that.
Not
2019, the Raptors put us on the map.
Not quite.
You know what I mean?
Not
No?
quite.
Why you say that?
But the like there's like you said, there's a natural like inquiry into what is Monday or what is MHC. And so that makes people inquisitive. What we need is one of them to post and tag us. We haven't gotten tagged yet from one of those guys.
Oh, it's coming. We're going to put that in there. Put that out there.
Yeah.
While this podcast comes out, you never know. They're going to be like, yo, we got to tag it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Free
Yeah.
promo for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. When you, your day-to-day, you talk about day-to-day life, balance. They always talk about work-life balance. I don't believe it's a thing. It's not a thing, right? How does your balance in an everyday look like? After scouting is done, after Monday Hoop Club is done, like what's your balance looking like?
It's not great, but it's getting better. Like when I was single, it was basketball 24/7, and that's kind of how I built it. I went to games every night. I drove wherever I had to go. I was insane. I responded to every single person. I did everything I could for every kid that asked. Like, it's the teams that pay me, not the kids. If the kids pay me, I would have a bias. So I want to remain unbiased. So I would help any kid that asked, like as long as I liked them as a player. I did whatever I could for everyone. I sent out 1 million emails, I texts, everything I could, and that built it up. And I didn't sleep well, and I still don't. But and it was a 24/7 thing, because if you think about it, if I have a client on the West Coast, they might message me at 2 a.m. Client in the East Coast, they might message me at 7 a.m. So it was a lot. Now I'm in a settled long-term relationship, so I try to like be there and not be on my phone 24/7, which I still am a lot. But
She understands.
yeah, and like I'm not good at it, and there's no right answer or whatever. But I'm a thinker, and I'm always thinking.
You're a creator first, man. That's what
creator.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're a creator, it's the ideation, it's always flowing, right? I'll be on phone calls, late night phone calls, and the ideation's always there.
Exactly.
Someone will say something and you have your phone, you go in your notes, you're like, okay, let me think about that.
Yeah.
That could be a content idea.
Yeah.
And I know some folks, when I talk to them, it may get annoying because it's like, for me, I'm always thinking creation.
Yeah.
How can I make this happen?
Sure.
Is this a podcast idea? Is this a talking point? Is this something I could probably post on Instagram and do a poll? And I think a lot of folks don't get that, because it's like, it's ebbs and flows. It's constant.
Mm-hmm.
When we get up first thing in the morning coffee this morning, I'm thinking how this conversation is going to go. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, let me just look up Wes. Because I tell people this is organic conversation. You don't see no scripts, not reading off the cue cards or anything like that. But I'm like, type in Wes. I see LinkedIn. I see the website. I see NBA Scout. And then I saw the YouTube, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
this guy got a YouTube too, right?
Yeah. I had a video guy, but he left for greener pastures.
Yeah. No. And you see all of this, and it's like, folks, this is who we are. You know what I mean? We're human. Yeah. Once we shut everything down, we go back to living our life. We're in a relationship. We have friends. We hang out. It's not like 24/7 eat, breathe, sleep content creation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the content stuff is just a result of like what's necessary in all of this. To be honest, like I'm not that person. I'm like I love the fashion side of it. I'd love to produce it all, but like, and I'm happy to post that stuff. But like, if I had it my way, I would delete my basketball Instagram. Like it's 20. I get 100 DMs a day from like players and stuff wanting me to post or tag, like getting tagged and all that stuff. And that really made me crazy. And like, I have it so that I don't miss anything that's happening in the basketball community, but it's a lot, and I don't let it dictate anymore. Like I just leave it pretty much.
Just leave it.
Yeah. Like I post, but not as much. that's how it all built. It's
Yeah.
like every, kids wanted to get like not a highlight reel, but just like a post from, like Monday. Well, it's now Monday Scout, my Insta. A post from Monday Scout, like highlighting, hey, this kid was really good, blah, blah, because
Yeah.
they know coaches see it in the States.
Yeah.
But I try not to let that dictate my life.
I feel you. Because you got to manage every little thing that's going on and whatnot.
Yeah.
Speak to a time that you've had to overcome adversity.
I mean, that's both businesses. I mean, when I started, I wasn't making any money. I spent all my savings on going to NBA events, introducing myself to people, didn't know what was going to come of it. I was hungry. I had scouting reports I had written to show my work. And I ended up getting a job with the Dallas Mavericks with their G League team, but they wouldn't sign my visa. So I was stuck here going to 905 games and stuff and providing any extra input I could because it was a small scouting department. And then I kind of realized that I needed a niche and I was making very little. And I just started going to Canadian high school games. And the adversity was, who knew what that was going to become? There was no foreseeable way of getting paid. I didn't know what it was going to be. I sent out free information over and over and over. I introduced myself to every coach that walked into a gym wherever I was and emailed every coach. And the adversity was like the complete unknown. I mean, I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't know if anyone was going to pay me. I didn't know how I was going to get paid, if I was going to get a job with a team and it, I guess I just had enough self-confidence because I always thought that I could be a scout to just keep going. So that was crazy. I mean, the first year I probably made nothing, literally. I remember my first sale. And then I guess it just spiraled but it's so funny now because I'm so removed from it. It's kind of sad because that was me, the hustler. I was hustling, really hustling. And now it's now that I've started my second business and the Monday Scouting has built up, I have 80 teams I deal with. It's like a past life, but I made it here by just fearlessly kind of hustling. And
I love that.
It was cool. It was cool.
So you speak about your first sale. What did you do with the receipt? Did you frame it? Do you have it somewhere? You put it in it? You put it somewhere?
No, I don't even remember how they probably paid on PayPal or something because it was Canadian school. But I'll never turn a message or call down from that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the first year, I don't know, there was one guy and then maybe 5, and I don't know. I don't remember how I stuck with it or how I had the fortitude or what even happened, the specifics. There's so many specifics that sadly is just a past life for me now that I have so many teams I deal with, and it's much easier.
Mm-hmm. With how big Canada is, we got Vancouver, right? Not putting you on the spot here. Do you feel like the NBA should revisit Vancouver?
I don't know what the market is for that. It's too complicated of a question for me.
I like the honesty.
It would be great.
Mm-hmm.
The basketball community is really strong in Vancouver. Basketball has become prep in Ontario. All the top players go to prep schools for the most part. They get recruited or they reach out, and most of the top players are playing prep. So high school, actual high school basketball has died down. Right? I just went to an Oakwood game the other day. They probably had top players before. They don't anymore. In Vancouver, all the top kids play regular high school. And when they have their provincial championships, it's a packed gym. Big gym, Langley Event Center, a few thousand people. So their culture is pretty strong. Now, beyond that, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But their basketball culture is strong.
Yeah. The reason why I ask this is because I look at all the other sports, right? And I look at NFL. I feel like NBA and NFL are back and forth. It's they both juggle to see who can get the most views. If a trade breaks here, something else is going on over there. This is how it is, right? But now I look at the market where they're looking more European. They want to go more world for NFL. NFL already said about Melbourne, but I'm NBA, Canada. we should revisit back Canada. I would love to see it happen because I think there's a demographic, there's a market. We got the WNBA team. I think that's gonna be. I'm gonna tell you, I think that's gonna do some damage here too. It should. You know, and I even look at, you know, where parts of the world, the UK, NBA doesn't seem to have that. I think it's there. I know it's there, but as like, can we get more games televised over there? Because it's about getting eyes on the product. How do you get eyes on the product?
For sure.
We know that the viewership is down. People are saying it's because of people are streaming the games from another site. I don't think it's that. I just think it's that NBA has to go up against NFL. And what's going to happen? A lot of folks are going to watch NFL.
Yeah, but they're at different times.
There you go, right? But it's like they watch NFL, but then when it goes to NBA, you're like, it's a Sunday. Who am I want to watch? Is there a marquee matchup game? Remember the days back when it used to be on NBA on NBC?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like that allure. We need something, that flair, that allure to bring us back.
They're looking. Like that's why they do a different All-Star game last night. That's why they have these international games that they do now. They're trying to figure. That's why they have the mid-season tournament that I think is stupid, but like they're trying to figure it out how to bring. And look, obviously it's still huge, but they're trying to maximize, and it is becoming more and more an international game. But maybe the next team isn't in Vancouver. Maybe the next team is outside of North America, which would be difficult in practice. But they're trying to, the game has become. I mean, look at the top. If you look at, I don't know what the number is, the top 15 players in the NBA. A lot of them are international. Jokic, Doncic, Shea, like they're all internationals. So they're trying to figure that out. But there's a lot of statistics and information behind that I am not.
I feel you, right? This guy just threw the ball off the bat board to put it in my lap. I'm going to throw the ball back off of here to back to you. Why do you think that's been like that international? Because the international game, I feel like, is dominated. All the players. You look at the last 10 to 15 years. I'd say 15 years. From the Dirks to the Parkers to the Manu Ginobili's.
Yeah.
When we talk barbershop talk with all the boys and stuff like that, it's these constant conversations that come up. And it's like, the marketability is there. But do you think it's because, how do I say this? I got to say this in a way. Do you think it's because the NBA knows, yes, it was made and organized in Canada. We have American basketball players. We already know what the product we're going to put out. But then you got the European side that come over here and dominate. Like, we're here to take all the food that's on the table. Does that make sense?
Like, what is it you're asking specifically?
So what I'm saying is that do the international players take the game more serious than our American?
Well, it's
players?
A different game. The Americans play an athleticism game, size and athleticism game. And I see this most, like, obviously I watch the younger ages. So I see under 16, under 17, under 18, under 19. The American teams are stacked. Those kids are much more advanced physically at that age. They have unlimited size, athleticism, all those things. So the American game is the NBA game. The international game is skill, IQ, all of those things, because there aren't generally, especially specialized in one place, the level of size and athletes that America has. So they have to get by in that way. And that's what Jokic's skill is, right? That's what Doncic's skill is. Those guys are IQ, and Shea a bit of a mix of both. But it's interesting to see where it all comes from. But the number one overarching thing I think that I see now as a scout and that I think is the most important is size and skill. Size and skill. If you have size and you have skill, you might not be the quickest footed, you might not be the best athlete, whatever it is, it generally translates. You look at a guy like Andrew Nemhard, a 6'5" point guard, Canadian player on the Pacers. He's having a great career. He's a starter on, a playoff team. He's a pass first point guard type, but it translates because he's got size and he's got skill. Like, he's not the best athlete, but he's become like somewhat of a lockdown defender, all these things. Like, it's smart. Shea's not the best athlete. She's not like blow by speed. She's not dunking on guys, but it's a stop and start game. and it's about pace, and it's about IQ and decision making, and being able to process as everything comes at you. So I think the unifier is size and skill, and it comes about in different ways. Like social media and all that has a huge part in the Americans and the way they play and stuff. And you'll see a highlight reel of a kid doing some crazy dunks and whatever in high school, but he never ends up panning out. So that's where all the background factors come in. But
I hear that you say that. So before we get out of here, because I'm going to put you on the spot now, top 5 players, no specific order, of all time.
Of all time?
Of all time. Your personal
It's tough
top
because
5.
like I'm too young. I'm not young. I'm 35, but
We around the same age. Real good.
I'm too young to like really know.
Mm-hmm. You don't get caught up in those conversations?
I'll put myself on the spot a little and of my time. Like I can put Jordan in there, but that's like a known. Like the top 5 players of like my era, of my time. I would say LeBron.
I like how you hesitated when
I would
saying
say
that.
LeBron, Kobe, Curry. It's hard to decide on the next few.
Mm-hmm.
I think LeBron would be my number one for sure in like my era of understanding basketball.
You just confidently said it.
Yeah, I'm confident about it.
Okay.
Kobe and Curry are a hard like matchup. I think those two guys are in the same category, and they're like, I think if I'm being honest, yeah, I think they're pretty close to where LeBron is, but I think LeBron being the guy that makes others better and is unstoppable as an attacker, I think that makes him the top guy.
Well, they're gonna come for me now. Wes,
Oh,
you're killing me.
No, it's so funny because this is good. I have a platform and like people, I know I keep my mouth shut when people talk about this stuff, but I know what, like, I know what makes me a professional scout, and it's recognizing how good what he does is. I don't know. The other two, like, it's tough. I love Steve Nash, right? I never thought I would see another point guard better than Steve Nash, right? He was perfect. He put unlimited pressure on the rim, made the right read every single time, created opportunities, open shots better than anyone like ever. And then, a few years later, Steph Curry comes along and he's the best player on a championship team 4 times.
The thing about Steve Nash is I don't think he comes up in a lot of point guard conversations when folks talk about the greats. In a lot of my conversations, you hear like the Stephs, you hear the Magics, you hear John Stockton. But I'm like, if you look at John Stockton, you look at Steve Nash, they were contrasting styles. But I think if you took John Stockton out of Utah, I don't think he does all those numbers personally.
Well, he had Carmelo. He had
there you go. I don't think both of those players do those
guys,
numbers.
They need, like, part of being great is needing other guys.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Yep, that's the truth. That's the truth.
And they had stacked rosters in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And he had lob threats in Marion and Amari, and he had floor spacers in Quentin Richardson and Joe Johnson and all those guys. So that plays a factor. Steph Curry doesn't have any titles without Klay Thompson or any of those guys. So that's always part of it.
You might get one this year, though.
We'll see.
You can still see.
But
you're so like, no.
Well, I don't know. Like we're so far away. They're not in the mix at the moment. You have to see how that works, right? The Lakers, like, how are these teams going to work when you have to adjust the offense now? And it's great that you have an athlete attacker that can take advantage when they overhelp on Steph. But what made them great before was that guy was a shooter instead. How will it work now? We have no idea. So you just kind of have to wait and see. But, I mean, like, to finish out, I don't know. Like, Durant, I mean, he's like as talented of a scorer as you'll ever find. But, like, was he the guy on the championship team? Like, not to me. I mean, he might have been the guy with Steph Curry there, but you're opening up so much off. Like, it's ridiculous. Those two guys together.
Yeah.
So I don't know who I would put as the others in that top 5 off the top of my head, to be honest. I don't have any strong opinions about most of it.
Yeah.
Other than LeBron being better than Kobe.
Oh boy. You say that straight face, eh? Do you say that in open forums, open public?
No, I don't talk about it ever.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, what is the point?
Yeah.
Generally. Like, it's like, and people want to ask me like, oh, Jordan, blah, blah, you know, like sometimes you'll get that. But I don't know. And I don't particularly care. Generally, that's like my scouting opinion.
Just own it.
But yeah. But mostly I don't. And like what I do is watch high school kids. It's like, trust me, like you think I'm like some like it's not the most exciting job. Like I'm literally in a high school gym in the middle of nowhere by myself, just watching.
Yeah.
Watching guys.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Because I think it's the youth. You get to see like the different levels and see
It's
what
cool.
they're building into and how they're getting to where they need to get to.
It's cool.
You
You
know?
see a full framed picture of a kid turning into a pro.
Yeah.
And it helps. Seeing what they become helps navigate where I'm at now.
I love that. Wes, plug all your information so you can get out of here.
Yeah. Check me out on Instagram, Monday Scout, or Monday Hoops Club for my hats. MondayHoopsClub.com. What else? Twitter, I think, is Wes Blair Brown. But yeah, Monday Morning Scouting Report. That's my scouting company. And Monday Hoops Club hats were taken off. We're going to be the top hat brand in the world soon.
Let me ask you this quick question. I love the information you just plugged. This just came up to me right now. How do you feel of us doing in Toronto here a creator charity basketball game?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of like stuff like that, honestly, that happens. I think it's probably a good idea.
Would you play in it?
If you want me to.
Yeah?
I haven't picked up a ball in I don't know how long. Like I probably played in leagues 11 years ago, and that was the last time.
Yeah.
Since then, I mean,
it's been 7 years for me.
If you want someone to chuck a bunch of bricks, then I'll play.
Do it's like a content creator celebrity kind of game. You know what I mean?
It's probably a good idea.
I think we should do that.
Get everyone out there.
Yeah.
Get some Monday
definitely.
jerseys.
Why not? Let's do that. Find the spot, find the venue.
Yeah.
I know the boys would probably be a part of that too, right? You know, but I appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you
for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, man, definitely.
It's been great.